Is working from home more distracting than you thought it would be? Hey, Cece Cheney here, and today I'm sharing 3 productivity hacks for working remotely. Now, before I dig into those, I did want to let you know that this is my final video from the 14-day challenge. I just want to say thank you so much for your love and support during these last 14 days. I know it has been a lot of video, but I have had some really incredible conversations as a result of that, and I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. As we move forward, if there are more topics that you'd like me to cover on videos in the future, let me know. We can do that, okay? But again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being involved in that process with me. So I feel like my wins are also your wins, so I should let you know. We got 4th place, 5th place, and finalists in the 3 contests of the 14-day challenge. So woohoo, it was awesome and it was amazing, and I totally share those wins with you. So shout out to you for participating and for the suggestions on topics and ideas. I really appreciate that. So that is the end of the 14-day challenge. Let's dig into these productivity hacks. Now, let me know, are you working remotely for the very first time or have you done it in the past? So when I first got to work at home, I mean, I was so pumped, right? I was working for an insurance company and I was chomping at the bits to be able to work from home and not have to come into the office. Now, this is a huge part of that for me was because I was introverted and we were like a cubicle factory. Like it was like one cube after the next, which was not enjoyable for me. Like, and I happened to have been sitting in a section that was filled with all of the managers. It just didn't feel fun, right? And so I was like chomping at the bits to get home, so I wouldn't have to do that anymore. But there are new challenges that come with being at home, right? And I know that many people are now in those situations. In fact, I've been reaching out to many of you to figure out what's going on with you and what kind of transition. And this is one of the things that many people are experiencing is now working from home. So what can you do to be most productive while you're there? I've got some tips for you. 1, make sure that you've got a physical workspace, right? A place that you go to that is work, right? So one of the issues I know that I faced when I was transitioning to working from home, I felt my house became work all of a sudden. I would get up and I would go and I'd immediately be working and on my laptop. But it made a huge difference when it was like, okay, dedicated space, dedicated time. When I'm in this space, I am working. When I'm out of this space, I'm at home, right? So having that dedicated space. Now, I know not everybody has an office setup. I have one, but you might not have been prepared, right? Because this is sort of a different time right now. And that's okay. Some people might decide that the best option is to have a corner at their dining room table that they use for work. That's totally cool, right? Maybe you have an area of your home that you can use, that you can kind of turn into a virtual workspace. But that, you want to make sure that you've got some dedicated space, okay? So that's tip number 1. Number 2, and I think this one is really important, especially if you are used to a work environment where you had good coworkers that you used to engage with. And one of the recommendations is to set a timer for breaks, right? Because in a typical office environment, somebody might come up to you and they might be like, oh, hey, Cece, how you doing today? And you might have a little mini break that allows your brain to take a second to readjust, and then you can come back focused. You might get up for a cup of coffee or some water, right? So actually going into your phone and setting actual reminders is so important. I actually do this for a lot of things in my life, right? I have reminders that remind me affirmations and all kinds of things. But a couple of reminders that you might consider using is a reminder to take a couple of deep breaths, right? Especially if you're overwhelmed or switching tasks. Also to stretch, because you'll find yourself sitting for long periods of time because you don't have as much to get up for. So giving yourself those reminders can make a huge difference in your productivity levels. And number 3, this one I think is so important. Make sure you test your technology before going into meetings, right? So there is a very embarrassing meme going on right now that I completely and totally will not share because it is so embarrassing. But it's something that can happen to anyone, right? And it's just a matter of making sure that you are prepared, right? So if you have a meeting and you're new to a technology platform, maybe you're using Zoom for the first time, checking and making sure that you know how the video camera works, how to turn your video off, making sure that your sound works before the meeting starts so that you're not wasting your time or other people's time, right? Making sure that your laptop's charged so you don't get kicked off the meeting in the middle because you weren't prepared, right? Making sure you've got a solid Wi-Fi signal. All of these things are really, really important. And can make you more productive, right? Because if you lose time getting a meeting started because you weren't prepared ahead of time, that can really delay other people, right? And if you're going to be, showing up, you want to be productive, then you want to make sure that you've done that. So those are the three productivity hacks that I think can really make a difference for you. Again, make sure that you've got a physical workspace. When you go there, you are now officially at work, right? Number two, make sure that you set those reminders for breaks so that you have the opportunity to Boris is screaming at me. So you have the opportunity to have a little bit of a break and refocus and sort of refresh right before the next task. And number three, make sure that you are all set up with your technology so that you don't have any embarrassing hiccups, right? Or so that you look like a professional, because at the end of the day, you just happen to be working at home. So those are the three things that can help you be more productive as you're working at home. Again, thank you so much for your love and support during the 14-day challenge. It is complete. And having absolutely nothing to do with productivity hacks, if you find yourself in a position where you are looking for some healthy groceries that you can have delivered to your door, and you're thinking, that might be something that would benefit you, shoot me a message. I'd be more than happy to share a little bit with you about what it is that we have that we've kept in our cabinet so that we're good to go during this quarantine. Let me know if that'd be something that'd be useful to you. Shoot me a message and we can talk about it. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you soon. Ciao.